Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. Hi, I'm Frank Omalape. Our top stories tonight. Nigeria's military says in spite of negative reports in the media, troops at the battlefront remain resolute in the war against insurgency. Also in this program, the Senate insists the recent events in the National Assembly will not affect its relations with the executive. And the Central Bank of Nigeria extends registration for bank verification number for 4 months. Outside Nigeria now, Red Tuesday in Indonesia. A C-130 Hercules military transport plane crash in Medan, Indonesia, which has risen to 86. Thank you for joining us tonight. Nigeria's military says troops at the forefront requires public support to win the war against insurgency. It added that in spite of negative report in some media, segment of the international media, its personnel remain resolute and steadfast at the battlefront. Defense spokesman Chris Olukolade said this at a public presentation of his book in Abuja. And now, France President François Hollande has invited his counterpart Muhammadu Buhari to Paris for a follow-up meeting on the security situation in the northeast region. The French ambassador to Nigeria, Denis Gave disclosed this on the sidelines of a courtesy call on Senate President Bukola Saraki in Abuja. He maintained that France has shown enough commitment to ensuring the success of the war against insurgency by encouraging its former colonies in West Africa to cooperate with Nigeria.
This meeting, this summit organized in Paris in May last year, the objective of it was to bring together the leaders of Nigeria and of the surrounding countries to promote a better cooperation and collaboration among them in the fight against Boko Haram. And I must say, well, since then, this cooperation precisely developed quite positively. President Hollande met President Buhari in Germany in the framework of the G7 recently. They discussed about that. And they convened to develop the cooperation in terms, bilateral cooperation in terms of intelligence, of military cooperation also. So, well, we hope that it will continue that way and that finally this terrorist threat can be eliminated.
The Senate, under the leadership of Senate President Bukola Saraki, insists that recent events in the National Assembly will not affect relations with the executive. It also says it is keen on supporting the anti-corruption agenda of the Buhari administration. This was the thrust of the message Senator Saraki delivered when he received the French ambassador to Nigeria, Denis Gave, at the National Assembly complex.
Some of the events of the last few days. Sometimes, as you all know, I'm sure when you go through elections, these sort of things do tend to happen. But gradually, as you can see, we're settling down, and that will really be a thing of the past. I don't think in any way I can assure you will affect the collaboration or cooperation between the National Assembly and the Executive to lead by example. And of course, the fight against corruption, which is a key issue for the President Muhammadu Buhari administration, that we're going to give all our support to see how that can improve, on how different agencies can be more efficient. If there are overlaps, we can see how to improve and streamline and ensure that these areas are addressed.
Sorry, Excellency, can you conclude?
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has inaugurated a 15-member ad hoc committee on the review of the standing orders.
There is no aspect of the standing order that
is to come up with the new set of guidelines for legislative activities for the next 4 years. Speaking at a brief ceremony, Speaker Yakubu Dogara, who was represented by his deputy Yusuf Lasso, charged the committee members to be thorough in carrying out their duties. The committee, which has 3 weeks to conclude its tasks, is also expected to perform the functions of the House Committee on Rules and Business until such is constituted.
There is no aspect of the standing order that is off limits. You should feel free to dissect the standing orders and propose amendment to any rule you think is required to strengthen the operation of the House. The leadership will provide the committee with a list of areas it had identified for review, but you are enjoined to cast a wide net in a bid to provide a holistic review of the standing orders. The committee jurisdiction shall cover A, making recommendations on revisions of the standing orders of the House. B, ensuring that the jurisdiction of the House committees do not overlap. C, carrying out all functions of the Standing Committee on Rules and Business of the House pending its constitution. D, any other recommendation incidental or relevant to the subject matter of the committee's jurisdiction. E, handing any other matter as may be assigned to it by the House or Honorable Speaker.
And our Deputy Senate Leader, Bala Ibn Nala, is convinced that the former interim chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Bisi Akonde, did not blame the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President on Northern's conspiracy against the Southwest. He insists that the one-time Osun State governor must have been misquoted. Senator Ibn Nala maintained in an interview with a journalist in Abuja that there was no ethnic consideration or gang-up against any part of the country.
Mr. Akande is a very respected senior member of this country, and I am not so sure he has not been misquoted as it relates to that issue. We are a united country, whether we like it or not, with some few interests being defined at different levels of our governance. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, I do not want to believe that there is any conspiracy. If there is conspiracy on the part of the North, what makes you think that the conspiracy will involve bringing somebody from the PDP and Southeast to be the Senate President of... Look, things happen not as expected. So I do not want to believe that that statement has not been erroneously attributed to Chief Bisi Akande. We hold him in high esteem, and I don't want to believe that that is an issue that we should talk about.
Now, exactly 1 month into the new administration, Nigerians have begun to question the seeming slow pace of work the administration has taken, having raised the expectation of Nigerians during the last election campaign. Addressing the issue in a media briefing, the APC spokesman Lai Mohammed said despite being given handover note just 4 days before inauguration by the past administration with a lot of mess to clear, the president has in the past 1 month achieved measurable heights in the fight against insurgency.
It's been about 1 month now since President Muhammadu Buhari assumed office. And I can tell you that there has been motion and there has been movement, contrary to what is being peddled in some quarters. The expectations are high and urgent, and the Buhari administration has started addressing them, despite the enormous challenges that it faces, including an empty treasury and an economy that has virtually collapsed. The Buhari administration got the handover notes from the former government just 4 days before the inauguration, hampering its efforts to have a clear understanding of the situation on ground before taking the necessary measures to address it. If any disease is not appropriately diagnosed, it cannot be effectively treated.
Away from there now, a federal high court in Abuja has granted permission to the Senate leader Ali Ndume to travel to Mecca on July 3 for Lesser Hajj. Senator Ndume, representing Borno South, is facing terrorism charges of sponsoring the Islamic terrorist group Boko Haram. Justice Gabriel Kolawole, in a ruling on Ndume's application to embark on the trip, ordered the Deputy Chief Registrar litigation of the court to release his passport and other travel documents. The judge, however, ordered the senator to return the travel document to the court within 72 hours of his return to the country. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take a break now. I'll be back shortly with more stories. Do join us again.
That's a sign of protest, saying that things are not good.
Women share the most amazing thoughts.
When it's close to the time, our people will protest
on national issues.
That was on their own point. That was an accident. That is different.
And they do it.
Politics is about being a servant.
Passionately.
Without a woman, there will be no success at all.
Sharing the adorable word of women.
There are some women who have what it takes.
In politics.
Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady. When she's too soft, she's too soft.
Only on CoreTV News.
It's the CoreTV Primetime News. If you just joined us, a quick reminder of our top stories. Nigeria's military says in spite of negative reports in the media, troops at the battlefront remain resolute in the war against insurgency. The Senate insists the recent events in the National Assembly will not affect its relationship with the executive. And the Central Bank of Nigeria extends registration for bank verification number by 4 months. Thank you for joining us. Now, all our top stories can be found on our social media platforms. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV TV space the news. Moving on now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has extended the bank registration verification deadline to October 31. This, according to the bank, is to accommodate customers who had thronged commercial banks nationwide in the last minute to beat the earlier June 30 deadline. CBN disclosed this in a statement signed by its Director of Banking and Payment System, Dipo Fatoku. The FS Bank expects the extension to facilitate a smooth completion of the registration exercise. It also noted that the new date will give Nigerian bank customers in the diaspora enough opportunity to sign on to the program. The bank added that guideline for the enrollment of the diaspora account holders will be released soon. And earlier on Tuesday in Ado-Ekiti, bank customers were in a last-minute rush to obtain their bank verification number in line with the June 30 deadline given by the Central Bank of Nigeria. In Ado-Ekiti, aggrieved customers who beseeched the deposit monetary banks gave various reasons for their late registration, thereby calling for an extension in the exercise. Correspondent Rashid completes the story.
The serene environment which banks are known for is betrayed with these sites. No thanks to the last-minute rush for the registration of the bank verification number. Banks in Ado-Ekiti became markets of sorts as customers rushed to beat the June 30th deadline. Various reasons were adduced for lateness in the registration.
Timing has been very, very difficult. You know, the policy has not really been settled. No permission in the office sometimes, and you find out before you get to the bank, it's closed.
We didn't know that it is compulsory. They did tell us that it is compulsory. First bank so àtìgbà tán ti loot ẹ̀ tán ti rob ẹ̀ so ó difficult fún wa láti gba owó tá a bá wá sí Adó
As some still struggle to beat the deadline and get the registration done, some have, however, succumbed to fate, asking for an extension in the registration period.
I don't know how they can complete this exercise today, but I believe the exercise, if it can be extended by the central bank, then it will favor majority of the customers. If we go to the rural areas,
I want you to postpone it because many of us here now, we came here yesterday and again today, and the thing is not done.
So the extension, I mean, over a year is okay, but you still need an extension at least because things have not really been together.
Nigerians have been accused generally of taking institutional directives with levity. It's, however, no doubt that the extension in the registration may erase the fear of being denied financial inclusion. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
And in Lagos here, in what appears to be a last-minute rush for June 30 deadline of the bank verification number, banks in Lagos struggle to manage the crowd as customers gestures to obtain their verification number. However, despite the extension, these Lagosians express mixed feelings on the exercise.
But the interpretation of this BVN, people don't really know what it really means.
That they will send it through message. I didn't know, maybe it will be possible or not. So I told them that I will not come back again.
Nigerians are never known to be serious. I did my own last year. Immediately I went into the bank. I registered at 4 other banks like that. First Bank, Diamond, all of them, where I have account. Only to get to know that it is only one, just one. The stamping that I registered last gave me this.
For the past 3 days now, if you go to bank, you will not even see chance to enter inside bank because majority of the people who refused to do the BVM at the earlier stage are now rushing in to do the BVM.
They said I should come and do it. I said I can't enter through the door. The door is very small. So they said they will come back. Since then, they have not come back. I have not done my own. So I operate my bank, my system through the ATM for now. They should find a way that they should link up to the disabled ones for now, before the times expire.
Well, now that he has been extended, of course, Nigerians stand a chance to take advantage of the extension. Away from there now, Osun State government says it has commenced the process of paying the salaries of civil servants in the state. It also announced a 50% cut in the salaries and allowances of political office holders. The government said in a statement issued from the governor's office that it is paying the balance of November and full December salary arrears owed. It added that efforts are run to ensure that the remaining months are cleared. On the 50% cut in salaries and allowances of all political office holders in the state, the government explained that it is one of the many steps being taken to boost the state coffers. It also noted that efforts are run to boost the state revenue by attracting local and foreign investment. Meanwhile, thousands of aggrieved local government employees stormed the Edo State Secretariat of the Nigeria Labour Congress to express their grievances over non-payment of the salaries. The state president of Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Young Elena Kenna, will let the staff to Labour House in Benin and join the NLCs to take action against the oppressive tendencies of state government, whom he noted have been insensitive to the plight. The report. This protest is about the 10th in the last couple of months since they began. Yet there appears to be no progress in sight over their pay as the financial crunch bites harder. The aggrieved local government staff are from 15 councils of the state demanding their immediate pay of their salaries running into several months. Meanwhile, the state government had told local government weeks back to take care of its responsibility.
As of today, local government is not autonomous. So that means they are under the state government. So the state cannot shy away from it. We are the responsibility of the state because we have Ministry of Local Government. So, comrades, our money is being managed by the Ministry of Local Government. So the state cannot wash its hands off it.
State Chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Emmanuel Ademoku, in his solidarity assured the workers of its support of the workers having given 2 weeks ultimatum to the state government to pay up or face a strike action.
2 weeks ultimatum to Edo State government and to local government administrations in the state to pay your salaries ranging between 1 month to 8 months, now 9 months. Governments, if we issue that letter ultimatum to government and to the local government administration.
After words of assurance from the leadership of the state NLC, the protesting workers later dispersed as they expect the government to heed their call soon. And now the disruption of the Odo Oye Descendants Day celebration of the Odo Oye community in Ijero local government area of Ekiti State has thrown the community and the whole Ijero town into turmoil amid a palpable fear of the unknown, while the leaders of the Odo Oye community accused the paramount ruler of Ijero Kingdom of disrupting their yearly family celebration. The king says the disruption, which led to loss of property, is because of the sinister motive of the organizers in seeking autonomy by pulling out of the Ijero Confederation. This development has pitched the two factions against each other. Correspondent Rashid, who visited the community, has made this report.
Some visitors like us, Odoye community and the whole of Ijero town is one and with peace reigning. But on closer look, there is palpable tension and deep-seated animosity between the Odoye community and the paramount ruler of Ijero, or Wajero. The reason for this, though, is not far-fetched. The people of Odoye community say armed thugs under the instruction of the Owajero over the weekend laid siege on Odoye community entrance, blocking easy passage and disrupting the yearly Ioye descendant celebration billed to hold at the weekend. Property worth millions were also destroyed in the assembly.
For the Ijero himself to import thugs, armed, OPC thugs, armed with the thugs he's using in the Ijero to come and disrupt the peace of Odoye, the people of Odoye, and disrupt and prevented us during our celebration, destroying all the rented equipment, most of the rented equipment, and destroying all our food is unacceptable. It is illegal, unlawful, barbaric.
My canopies burnt, my drum, tables, and some chairs. So
what message are you passing across to the government?
I am positive the message that the government will come to help me.
The Ajero of Ijero Kingdom, Oba Joseph Adewale, who admitted the disruption of the said celebration, says the leaders of Odoye community are seeking for autonomy in the guise of family celebration, despite the community being just a sub-quarters under Ijero Kingdom.
Their real aim is to take that sub-quarter out of this town and make it a separate community. And that is what they are gunning at. So, that they want to do family celebration is just a small screen. Because they didn't take permission from me, I made up my mind not to allow them to do it.
We lie. A responsible, retired senior military officer now saying, I want to initiate autonomy. The answer is no. We know the law.
With the hitherto peaceful communities now at each other's throat, the state government's intervention is needed in order to avert escalation of the already tensed situation.
For the mere fact that we allow them to be moving just like that, another thing is still going to come. So we are begging government to come and react to this situation.
With the Odoye community accusing the police and the Oba of Ijero of connivance and complicity, the two sides still remain in the trenches, ready to do battle. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ijero Ekiti.
And of the police high command has again assured Nigerians that no security vacuum will be created following the withdrawal of military personnel from checkpoints across the country. Inspector General Police Solomon Arasa gave the assurance at the opening of a meeting with senior officers to review security in the first half of the year. The police chief also disclosed that the Special Anti-Robbery Squad will be provided with a new dress code to enable them stand out from hoodlums during their operations.
The President has given a directive that our colleagues in the military should withdraw from some of the areas that they were mounting roadblocks to assist us as part of their constitutional role for military assistance to civil authorities. And we have agreed that there should be a dress code for all our SARs, nationally, so that they will be able to be identified with it. But because of paucity of funds, we are trying to get some designs, which the DIG in charge of logistics is trying to bring up to management for approval. Yes. And once that is done, we'll unveil it, and everybody will know what the dress code for the SARS operatives are supposed to look like.
And as part of its renewed war against cultism and other criminal acts, the Imo State Police Command have engaged a group of young boys said to be cultists in a shootout leading to the death of one of them in Owerri. A correspondent, Hajibade Officer, has more in this report.
Following on from complaints of harassment and attacks by some unknown gunmen near the Igbo Community Secondary School in Owerri, the Imo State Police Command swung into action to clear the suspected criminals who engaged the men of Imo State Police Command in a shootout.
Achievements of the command in the last 24 hours. Precisely on Sunday, 28th of this month, operatives from this command acting on information that some court members were having a meeting somewhere, proceeded to the scene, and the course of which we had a shootout with the court members.
After the dust of the confrontation between the police and the suspected criminals were cleared, the police captured 2, killed 1, while others escaped into the nearby bush with bullet wounds.
Finish. This is my keke. My papers, everything is okay. They called me on drop. I'm a keke driver. I don't know.
What happened to your leg?
I don't know the road. I was the one standing. I was standing. I didn't know that police people are there. So I don't know where to run to. I stand. I told them that I'm a keke driver. This is my keke.
I know him. We are just a cultist, but we are not animals. We are cultists.
Okay, even this one.
Yes.
Which call do you belong to?
Blackers.
But you are not armed robbers.
We are not armed robbers.
How were you arrested?
We were arrested when we were doing a meeting.
Huh?
We were arrested when we were doing a meeting. That's all I can say.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police says the police will not relent in ensuring that those injured in the shootout are arrested.
Proactive measures have been taken to arrest the situation. That is why we are asking for your support. We are asking for information from members of the public. Because we can't be alone. We cannot be everywhere. So we need your support. We need you to give us information so that we can together fight this crime.
But for those who are in the police custody, the next line of action is to appear before the courts to test their culpability for their alleged crime. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
Abuja High Court Tuesday has rejected a plea bargain proposal mooted by persons accused of complicity in stealing pension funds. Ibrahim Ahmed Mazangari, Mohammed Sani Sulaiman, Hajia Fatima Mazangari, Saleh Yerima Sojo, and a whole lot of them were arraigned by the EFCC on a 29-count charge bordering on stealing and obtaining by false pretense, but the arraignment could not proceed due to the absence of third accused. Fatima Mazangari, whose counsel Ibrahim Salau claimed is very sick. He consequently pleaded for a shorter adjournment to allow his client to recover and be present in the courts to take her plea. But before the court adjourned proceeding to September 15, 2015, Salau, representing the first and fifth accused, informed the court that his client had open plea bargain discussion with the prosecution. Trial Judge Justice Abubakar Tamba cut him short and forbade him from broaching the subject of a plea bargain in his court. The accused persons, who were offered a biometric contract by a former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Steve Oronsai, to regularize names of pensioners on the pensions payroll, allegedly smuggled in names of fake pensioners and collected unearned pension. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break now. We'll be back shortly with stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said. And because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will strong for Yoruba land. Will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
And outside Nigeria now, South Sudan's army and allied militias abducted, tortured, and gang raped girls during fighting against rebel forces, as investigators found that at least 172 women and girls were abducted and subjected to sexual violence. A woman was dragged out of her hut and gang raped in front of a 3-year-old child, the report said. But the government denies its army has committed atrocities and says it will study the report. The UN mission in South Sudan said abuses during the 18-month civil war had reached a new scale of intensity and horror in recent fighting in the oil-producing Unity State. The military launched a major offensive against rebel forces in April with fierce fighting in Unity State's northern Mayan district, once a key oil-producing area, as the civil war began in December 2013 after Kier accused his sacked deputy Riek Machar of plotting a coup. And the death toll in the Tuesday crash of a military transport plane in Medan, Indonesia has risen to at least 86, as Zuki Philly, the official said. 86 bodies had been recovered from the crash site. Air Marshal Agos Supriyatna, Indonesia's Air Force commander, said the C-130 Hercules initially took off from Jakarta's Halim Perdanakusuma airport on Tuesday with 122 people aboard and 110 passengers and 12 crew members, as that it is not certain how many people were on the plane when it crashed. Major General Fahd Basia, an Indonesian military spokesman, said the aircraft, built in the United States in 1960s, had been inspected and cleared to fly before it took off from Suwondo Air Force Base in Medan. The crash site is about 5 kilometers, equivalent of 3 miles from the air base. And in sports now, the Napoli-owned striker Eduardo Vargas back to on the night, both opening the scoring and netting a superb winning goal as the strike sent Chile into their first Copa America final since 1987 after a controversial red card to Peru's Carlos Zambrano gave the tournament host the big advantage. Referee Jose Agotes played Zambrano in the first half, leaving Peru to play 70 minutes with 10 players, and despite a brave performance from Ricardo Garecia's men, Chile eventually prevailed 2-1 in Santiago thanks to a brace from Vargas. It could have been a very different match. The Estadio Nacional had got to choosing to send off Vidal early, with the Juventus midfielder tangling with Zambrano as the latter looked to shepherd the ball out in the 4th minute, and just 2 minutes later Zambrano received a yellow card for a foul of Alexis Shanzek before Peru's Jefferson Farron struck the post with a header, and in the 20th minute Agote left an indelible mark on the match. And our former Argentina star Hernan Crespo has taken his first role as a #1, joining the Serie B side on a 1-year deal with the option of a further 2 seasons, as he has been named head coach of Italian Serie B side Modena, the club have announced. The former AC Milan, Inter and Chelsea player had been working as a youth coach at Parma, but their bankruptcy and relegation has allowed him to seek other opportunities. And Modena announced that the 39-year-old former Argentina star has joined on a 1-year deal, but has the option to stay on for 2 more beyond that. Modena announces that it has hired Hernan Crespo as first-team coach, and the Argentinian coach has signed for 1 year plus an option for another 2 years, as Modena finished 18th in Serie B last season and kept their place in the Italian second tier through the playoff. And finally, in sports now, Forces manager Nigel Passin has been relief of his duties despite guiding the club to a 14th place finish in the Premier League due to fundamental differences with the board. The club announced on Tuesday that the 51-year-old has been relieved of his duties despite guiding the club to Premier League survival in 2014-15. The Forces finished 14th, but passing has now been asked, with a statement revealing that the club believes that the working relationship between passing and the board is no longer viable. A statement added that the board of directors recognizes the success Nigel has helped to bring to Leicester City during his 2 spells in charge of the club, particularly during the last 3.5 years. But however, it has become clear to the club that fundamental differences in perspective exist between them, as Greg Shakespeare and Steve Walsh will take charge of the first team while the club searches for a new manager. Well, it does it in sport and, of course, primetime news. Just before we go, a recap of our major headline. Now, we told you that Nigeria's military says in spite of negative report in the media, troops at the battlefront remain resolute in the war against insurgency. We also brought to you that the Senate insists the recent events in the National Assembly would not affect its relationship with the executive. And the Central Bank of Nigeria will extend registration for bank verification number by 4 months. Finally, aside Nigeria, Red Tuesday in Indonesia, a C-130 Hercules military transport plane crashed in Medan, Indonesia. Death toll has risen to 86. Well, and that's it on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. On behalf of the entire school, I am Frank Omalape. Do have a splendid day.